friends get together so they can try things. You're invited to this podcast so that you can try things. Now we will stop singing so that we can all now try this.
Hello and welcome to Now Try This, the podcast where two best friends get together every week to try new things. I'm hiding behind a microphone and my name is Marcus.
Put your mic down. Put your mic down.
Nick, who are you? What's your name?
My name is Nick. We're here to do a podcast. What podcast is it? Now Try This. What is that? We try things. We're best friends. We try. So what does that mean? Every week we challenge each other to try something new, but once a month. Once every month at the beginning of the month. It's a very special time because we relinquish all power and we give it to you guys. We give it to the listeners at patreon.com/nowtrythiscast. And when you go there and donate $5, you get to suggest something for us to try. And then everyone who donates just $1 gets to vote on that thing. And this month, Tommy Hall. I don't know why
Tommy
Hall.
You gave him a new username. Tommy Hall
gave us Winning Time, The Rise of the Lakers Dynasty. Yeah.
Basketball, give me the ball because I'm gonna dunk it. High five. You have to high five me.
Which way do I? This way?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
Did it work?
It was a perfect high five.
Great. Everything's reversed for me, and I see myself like 3 times. Marcus, what did we do last time?
Last episode we did Made in Manhattan.
Hell yeah.
Which you gave to me, and I absolutely loved. And go check out our clips on social medias, and also check out the episode itself.
Yep, at Now Try This Cast. And honestly, Marcus, that episode was a barn burner. When I had to go back and listen to it while editing, I was like, this was a great episode. This was one for the books. Anytime we do a rom-com of old, honestly, it's one for the books. Yeah. I don't know why. It's just, it works out that way. And next week is going to be your challenge. Marcus, are you prepared to tell me what that challenge is, or do you need to wait till the end to decide?
I know what my challenge is going to be. And so, in honor of Ben Cap, who recently joined as a patron
at patreon.com/nowtrythiscast.
Listen, guys, you join the Patreon. We listen to your suggestions. You directly affect the podcast like Ben Cap has. And so now we're starting to give our challenges in the beginning of the episodes. So my challenge for
which I'm not happy about. I want it to be super clear. I appreciate that as a fan, as a friend. I appreciate that he listens to the show, and I appreciate the money. I appreciate the money. But if he ever gets in his fucking high horse and tells us how to do this goddamn show again, he's gonna see another thing coming, because that's not okay.
Darren says she's with Nick. Wow.
Thank you, Daron. Producer
Darren
be
at the end. Okay.
It's got my back.
Darren, you just have to be at a higher tier patron than Ben. And then we'll change it.
And how do you do that? By going to twitch.tv/nowtrythiscast, where we record live every week, and subscribe with your Twitch Prime sub. If you have Amazon Prime, you have a completely free Twitch subscription that almost nobody uses. All you have to do is connect it, and you give us $5 a month through the Twitch. Imagine that, giving us $5 through Twitch, giving us $5 through Patreon, and then if enough people do that, we can quit our jobs and give you more content. Simple math.
Yep. Darren says I don't throw my producer credit around all that often, but fair enough. Well, I'll give it to you this time, and then we'll see how maybe we might go back to it. Nick, your challenge for next week is going to be Everything Everywhere All at Once, which last time we talked, you said you haven't seen.
No, I have not. Does it mean I got to go to theaters?
It's on streaming now, so you should be fine.
No, it's not. I don't.
Yeah,
think
it is.
For $20, dude.
It's good.
You have nothing to say.
It's
I'll
good.
go see it. I'll see it in theaters. Hold
on. Wait, guys. This is our desperate.
Oh my
plea.
God!
It costs us money to do this podcast. Costs us.
Jesus Christ.
We got to pay for editing software. We got to pay to host the podcast itself. We got to pay to do the challenges.
We got to host the website. We got to do so many things. But guys, Marcus, I was like, I have an AMC subscription. I'll go see. It's not an AMC's anymore. It's only at like Williamsburg Cinemas and Nighthawk and Alamo.
Or streaming.
Oh, no. It's in some AMC's.
You know what? Here's my ploy.
It's in AMC's. I'm going to go at AMC.
Here's what you do. Okay. You get a few of your buds together and have a movie theater night where you charge them admission, but you set up your apartment like a movie theater. You have
That's a genius
popcorn at
idea.
the ready. You like it's
Okay,
it's
keep
an
going.
experience. You have candy, popcorn.
Keep going. What else? What
nice
else?
big comfortable chairs and your friendship. And then you
And
charge everyone $5.
And I make sure to sit in front of them and be on my phone the whole time.
Yes, 100%. You can hire me. I'm available. I can stand in the back and make jokes the whole time.
But I will tell a story because the last time I remember going to see a movie with you, there was a guy in front of us who kept being on his phone every minute. Just kept being on his phone over and over and over again. And so we got nosy and we were like, what the fuck is this guy checking?
Yeah.
And he was checking some crypto or stock or some kind of account. And Marcus, we saw every time he checked it, it was $0.
Yeah.
That was my favorite thing that I've ever seen in my life.
It was like his Cash App or something like that. And it just kept saying $0. Maybe he was waiting for someone to send him money.
Nah, I think it was like crypto or something. He thought he was about to hit it big or something. So everything, everywhere, all at once, this Michelle Yao joint, still in theaters. I will see it this week and we will report back and we will watch it. All right.
No, maybe it's my personality is coming through a little bit more. Maybe I'm just projecting a little bit more. You know what it is? Maybe just like the sports memorabilia that I'm wearing and the sports vibes that I'm giving off is a little bit more intense than
what's up, Fear God of Death in the chat? Marcus,
you know what I mean?
Can't. I have seen so much more fucking sports movies than you.
Sports movies? Excuse me? Are you saying? Hold on, wait. You said I've seen so much more sports movies than me?
Yeah, that is what I said.
Yep, that makes you a more sporty guy. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, see? Mighty Ducks.
Oh, I'm going to allow this message. Hold on. Fear God of Death said, fuck boy vibes.
Oh, you had to allow it?
I had to allow it.
All right, guys. But next week, we're doing everything everywhere all at once. But this week, we are doing, per your challenge and your votes, we are doing Winning Time, the Rise of the Lakers Dynasty. Right before we get to it, Marcus, is there anything else you'd like to share before we jump right in to this HBO series?
Oh, yeah. I want to share that in honor of this episode, you always dress up. You always dress up, right? Normally you do. And I love it. You've worn Saw costume. You've like done so many.
I dressed up for Twin Peaks.
You dressed up for Twin Peaks. It's classic. So in honor, I wore California's greatest team. I wore their jersey today in honor of this episode.
Let me show my lack of sports knowledge. I believe the Mighty Ducks are Anaheim, and this is the moment I am finding out that Anaheim is in California.
Yes, yes, and you got it right, baby. It? Let's go, Mighty Ducks.
Shit!
Let's go.
It is in California. It's where Disney is. Oh, Anaheim.
Yep.
100%.
Okay.
Is Mighty Ducks a real team or is it just a movie?
So, okay, I'm going to tell you the story. You don't even need to Google. I see your Google face, Nick. I fucking see
you literally
your
see my
face.
head turn towards my
Every
Google
time
screen.
You're Googling, it's like, yes. Okay, so Nick, I will tell you what happened. Basically, in the height of NHL, basically when Gretzky came, rocked the NHL, and absolutely made it popular as fuck. So it was killer. It was destroying in the 90s. And so Disney was like, let's fucking go with this momentum and let's get in on this. And so they decided to start an actual hockey team, the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. And it went very badly for them. And they ended up just like getting rid of the team entirely because it was costing them so much money to have a sports
no one in
team.
California wanted to see a hockey
They
game.
didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know what was going on. And so they just decided to just fuck it and just say goodbye to an entire sports team.
They were there from 93 to 2006. 13 years.
Yeah.
For a sports team, that's a very short amount of time.
100%. And it was this team, during the research for this team, because I wanted to do a funny bit for this episode, and before I even watched Winning Time, that I learned that the teams don't have to stay. I was like, if a team exists, it has to be a part of the league forever. Teams can just go away, technically, if there's no business to back them.
Oh, yeah. And sometimes teams like move if they
100%.
get sold to like other places.
100%. So like the Lakers,
I forget who,
could have not been around if it wasn't for what happened in this episode or in this TV show. Or
Yeah,
I
it
guess
seemed
in
like
real
they
life.
were. It seemed like they were on the outs.
Mm-hmm.
I was literally about to say the Dodgers. Yeah, the Dodgers used to be in Brooklyn, and now they're in LA. LA Dodgers, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, wild.
I know New Jersey has the Devils, but New Jersey could buy the Mighty Ducks. I would fuck with the New Jersey Mighty Ducks as a sports team.
I feel like everyone over here is a Sabres fan, Buffalo Sabres.
Not what? No, everyone here is a Rangers fan.
Oh, Rangers. You're right.
Everyone where we went to college is a Sabres fan.
That's where I'm from. Sabres fans be wildin'. They're way worse than Rangers fans. That's why I thought that.
Oh, they're worse than Rangers fans? No
Buffalo
way.
fans are notoriously like it's like a categorical like research thing that Buffalo sports team fans are the goddamn. Like,
that's
most
not
vicious.
true. Okay, because no, Buffalo Bills fans are known for being amazing and incredible and good. All they do is break tables, but they don't start fights. They're
No.
pretty
I
good.
just meant the volume.
Okay.
Like
Sure.
If all sports fans were in an arena and you told them all to yell, the Buffaloes would be the loudest. Not like as in like vicious, as in like violent. I meant vicious as in like
okay, God.
like there's a lot
violent.
Buffalo fever is a thing.
Got it,
for all their sports teams. That's all I meant.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so without further ado, were you saying something else?
No, we're starting talking about the show already, baby. I said the Lakers might have not existed.
Marius, why are you talking about the Lakers? What is this show? What is this show that we had to watch? Winning Time. What is
Nick,
this?
Winning Time.
Literally had no idea what this was until we got it for a chat.
I know, it's
no
crazy.
Zero.
We're going to definitely get into how out of place I felt, but Winning Time is a sports television drama series created by Max Borenstein and Jim Hecht for HBO, based on the book Showtime, Magic Kareem Reilly and the Los Angeles Lakers Dynasty of the 1980s by Jeff Pearlman. The first season's 10 episodes long, and we watched 4 of it. It stars
and
John
this
C.
era
Reilly
of the
and
Lakers is
other
called
people.
the Showtime era.
Yes. So actually, right before we started the episode, we were looking more into it because I had just watched episode 4, and apparently they didn't talk to any of the basketball players or even attempt to contact them in doing this show. It was mostly based on the book. Yeah.
Just the book. Well, who's this guy that made the book? Is he involved or is he just a sports writer? He's just a sports writer.
It's just a sports writer.
He's written 9 books that have been on the New York Times bestseller, 4 about football, 3. So I'm sure he did rabid research.
But it is actually very easy to get on the New York Times bestsellers list. And a lot of people will, I mean, maybe he probably didn't do this, but a lot of people will
I've never
purposefully
been on the New York
buy
Times bestseller.
out a certain amount of copies of the book to make sure it ends up on New York's readers' bestsellers.
Oh, and then try to resell them.
Yeah,
to
Fox News does that a lot for their pundits and stuff like that. They'll buy a lot of books and copies to make sure it goes on the New York Times bestseller list.
Oh.
But usually there's like I forgot what it is, but there's some kind of marking that those books get that shows that companies bought all of those books and it wasn't actual people buying the books.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But
he's written a lot of books, but I'm trying to see if there's like more about him that like gives him clout, but not really. He's just a writer.
He's just a guy. I mean,
he said he had an infamous interview with John Rocker, but I don't know what that means. If we were sports fans, I bet we would know. But
speaking of Nick, watching this show, I felt like I was so out of place. I felt like what someone must feel like when they go to the newest Marvel movie without having seen any of the other Marvel movies. And they're just like, who's that guy? Who's that guy? This is an enjoyable watch, but I would appreciate it so much more if I knew who the characters were. And I know that this is real life, and technically I could figure it out, but in the same way it would take forever to catch up on the MCU, it would take a long time for me to go through all of history and figure out who these people are.
I had a second or two of that because the only thing I have to compare it to that I've seen that was anything even close to this is The Last Dance, the Michael Jordan and 90s Bulls documentary of their 6 championships, which was, I think, a fantastic documentary. Everyone should go check it out. I think it's on Netflix. It might be somewhere else, but I loved watching that. And that's the closest thing I've ever watched to something like this. But I was a kid of the 90s. So I knew Bulls fever. I knew MJ. I knew Scottie Pippen. I knew Dennis Rodman. I didn't know any of the facts but I knew who they were as like icons, which pushed me through it. But for this, you're right. I know who Magic Johnson is by name, that he played basketball, and that he has AIDS. That's all I know. I
Fair enough.
know Kareem Abdul-Jabbar because he's super tall and he was on Dancing with the Stars.
Also, he was in Game of Death with Bruce Lee.
Nope.
Very famous movie scene where he fights Bruce Lee. I love that.
Nope.
That's how I know him. I was like, this is the tallest man I've ever seen in my life. And he was fighting Bruce Lee.
I knew so little in terms of that kind of stuff. So I was about to start to feel like you. I was starting to ask those questions. And then I realized that it was a fruitless endeavor, because then I would just have to keep Googling and like looking and like, so I gave up that mindset, and I thought of it like Friday Night Lights. I was like, I am watching a sports TV show. I am watching Mighty Ducks. I am watching Rudy. I am watching Remember the Titans. I am watching I switched gears because I went in with the gear of watching that documentary, and then I switched when I realized that wasn't going to be helpful, and I was like, pure entertainment. I did not, and then what you're saying keeps peeking through the show, right? Because it'll mention something that like sparks like the tiniest little like itch of something we tangentially know.
100%.
And then I'd be like, no, I gotta get, because I'm about to Google, because it happened at one point. Lexi told me about Cookie and how she was associated with Magic Johnson past this point. Yeah. And then we started Googling for a second. I was like, no, let's enjoy the show.
I know. It's also funny when you watch shows that are based on historical events where you're like, I want to Google and figure it out. But also by Googling, you are spoiling the show for yourself.
Straight up spoiling.
Because I don't know any of this shit. So it is new. It is brand new information to me.
Yeah.
Have you watched Our Flag Means Death?
The HBO show?
Yeah.
No.
It's another show that's based loosely on historical events. And I feel like I listened to a podcast episode of Blackbeard, and I felt like I was spoiling myself for the show. I was like, fuck, now I'm going to know what happens.
Which is wild because it's so dated.
Yeah.
But it's so funny how we just avoided this because we're kids of the 90s, not kids of the 80s. So I'm sure there are 40-year-olds who are watching this who felt the same way I did watching that Bulls documentary.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It was like of non-sports fans. Sports fans know this stuff. Sports fans know these peoples. They know the eras. They know what's going on, at least tangentially. But I'm sure they felt that way. I didn't know a lot.
Like, I'm going to keep comparing this to a Marvel movie because that's the best context I have for the feelings I was going through. But in a Marvel movie, when they play like in Multiverse of Madness, when they play that little X-Men 90s music sting, I feel like there's a lot of that kind of stuff happening in here. Like there's name drops and there's like little winks and nods to who people are going to be in the future because there's somebody later, and we have that hindsight that like I am missing. Like they're winking at the camera, and I am like, I don't know who that is.
Literally winking.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, I don't know who that is. I don't know why this is important. I don't know who that person is. Is this guy good? Is this guy who they have as a coach now going to win them the games? And then I will be like, oh, yes, I remember him. Or does everyone know that this is going to burn and crash because they know, obviously, this guy like fucks up the whole team and is only the coach for the first 3 games, right? Shit like that. It's just like feels weird not knowing.
And at the same time, there's a moment or two where like Adrian Brody will play a character. I was like, oh, well, so he must be important. I don't know. And it's like, because I see a named actor is playing the guy. I was like, oh, so he's going to be crucial and important.
Exactly. Jason Segel's in this show, and I'm watching it, and I'm like,
I would have thought he was nobody.
Who the hell is he? Is he going to be the coach? Is he still going to be important later because he's a named actor? I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Darren in the chest says, who the fuck is Jack McKinney? Keeps dropping like a joke. Like we're supposed to know who he is. Yep. Exactly. I'm like, I don't know who this guy is. Is he going to
coach
win all of the games?
Head coach in the NBA with the LA Lakers.
Still? No, he must be dead.
Wait, what? Hold on.
Are you reading spoilers? Okay. Jesus Christ.
He was a coach as a head coach in the NBA with the LA Lakers. He introduced an up-tempo style of play. Is he the coach?
Yeah, that's Jack McKinney. That's the guy who was introduced in episode 3 or whatever.
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah, I think he's a big deal.
Okay, great. So exactly, but the whole time the show is going on, it's like winking and nodding at you, like, yes, you should know who this guy is. And I'm like, fuck, man, is he like? But like, you know what? I wish there was more Marvel analogs to explain to me, is this coach going to be like a Cyclops kind of leader or Professor X? Like, what are we playing with here? Give me
I just
some
spoiled myself
information.
too. Do you want to know what I just spoiled?
No, I don't want to know what's spoiled, Nick.
Okay.
I don't want spoilers for historical events.
It's hard. Because I'm like, here I am, and you brought up Jack McKinney, so I look.
Nick,
Pacers. Okay,
focus.
Sorry, it's a rabbit hole. So which is why one of the reasons why I do love nonfiction dramatization stuff. When it's done well, it's really, really cool to think about what was said. Just for example, like The Founder, that Michael Keaton McDonald's movie, right? And sometimes they're not even great movies. Like, that's not a great movie, but I loved watching it because I love seeing the dramatization of these moments. One of the reasons why is I think I have a bad habit of romanticizing events of the past, even just in my own life, and my own conversations, and especially when I come back and tell the story, that I'll tell it like it's a goddamn movie.
100%.
That's how I see the world. So when you're telling me historical facts, that's boring. But when you show me historical facts and they're talking like an Aaron Sorkin movie, like West Wing, I'm like, yeah.
That's
what this show is doing. This show is straight up doing.
I'd rather watch this than a documentary, depending on what the topic is. If it is something that I don't really care about, then it totally give me the entertainment, make up the conversations, make it fun.
Yeah. And I really like how Lexi's trying to fucking call me out in the chat saying I hate The Crown. I don't hate The Crown at all. I like The Crown.
Nick, I also will call you out because you're absolutely right about the way you describe shit. I remember you describing you like having sex or something like that, and you were like making sound effects. You're like, and I grabbed her hair and I kissed her lips and it was moist. And I was just like, what the fuck is this?
Marcus, that's how it's like having sex with me.
Head?
That's like
that's what
it's like. No. Everyone involved. I promise. I promise. Everyone involved. Marcus, maybe someday you'll experience the joy, but for everyone involved, that is what is what it is like.
Okay.
But so before this, neither of us really knew anything about the Lakers. We didn't even know too much about the show. Talk me through those first. It's my favorite question to ask. Talk me through those first moments of starting the show, because this show is like a take. It is not what I was expecting. It is not at all what I was expecting in style, in format, in execution. Like, what do you think about the show at the start?
I feel like the show starts off and it's definitely has a specific style. It feels like it is trying to capture not the realness of the time, but sort of like the time through rose-colored glasses.
Yeah.
It is doing like a kind of look back in sort of like the way, like you said, where it's like you are telling a fictional, fantastical version of what the world is really like or was really like at the time. And I don't mind it, actually. Like, I think narratively, and it makes the show more fun, and it makes the show more of a show than like a retelling of factual events. I feel like so many things that are based on a true story, sometimes, I don't know, they like make it too boring because it's like they're trying to honor the story a little bit too much. I'm glad that this, even though it's sort of like based on true events, it's having fun with them.
Yeah. And I also feel like it's so winky and naughty.
Yeah.
It is kind of doing that thing. It's almost doing that thing. It's not doing this thing, but it's that thing like I don't even know how to describe it, like a Fargo or a Coen Brothers or something like that, where like it feels like every moment that happens in the show, they're so close to having a tagline on the bottom saying this really happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like oh wait, I'm such a fucking idiot. You know why I'm such a fucking idiot? Because this show is made by Adam McKay, who literally does that in his movies about Vice, with Dick Cheney and The Big Short and Don't Look Up. He literally created that genre of doing that.
Yep.
Where showing how ridiculous something was and then saying this really happened with a tagline on the bottom. So honestly, now that I'm saying that, I like Adam McKay's movies. I like The Big Short. I liked Vice. I didn't really like Don't Look Up. But this does feel like a natural transition to him where he's like honing his craft. Where this feels like a West Wing version of The Big Short or Vice, where he's like tightening it up, and it's still winky and it's still naughty, and it is still kind of saying this is so ridiculous because it really happened, but it's doing it in an auteur way, in a also like a narrative, really nice way. I don't know. Really interesting that I didn't realize that Adam McKay and I was literally referencing him. Yeah. Have you seen any Adam McKay's other stuff?
I don't think I have. I haven't seen any of the stuff that you mentioned there.
The Big Short with Ryan Gosling and Steve Carell, or Vice with about Dick Cheney with Christian Bale as Dick Cheney.
Did not see any of those movies. Are they worth watching, or is it like, if I watch
really
this, then I'm fine?
No. There's completely.
I saw the other guys. He was a producer on that one.
The Big Short is about the housing bubble of 2008 that led to the recession.
What does McKay do? Is he like a director?
He's a writer-director, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was head writer of SNL for a little while, and then he helped make Anchorman and Talladega Nights and other guys, yeah. But then he went on to do his own movies, which was like The Big Short, Vice, which won Oscars and stuff for things. You know, good movie. They're good movies. And it's good movies because it's about super stuff. I didn't like Don't Look Up.
Okay.
A lot. But it is still worth watching. But the other two are, I think, good movies. The Big Short and Vice, very good. It is crazy, all the true shit that Dick Cheney did and was responsible for, and what he did and did not do. And Christian Bale is fucking Christian Bale. He's Dick Cheney, which is wild because Christian Bale is not Dick Cheney at all, but he was in that movie.
Yeah.
He gained like 80 pounds. It was fucking wild.
I think that there is a benefit to looking at historical events through the context of like having fun with it, and kind of like through the lens of how ridiculous this stuff really is. And so in an environment where you are kind of like inflating the truth a little bit to really emphasize those moments that just happened exactly as is really interesting. And I like that style. It feels like, you know, pseudo documentary.
Yeah, I think it's funny because it's doing the mockumentary thing, but it's doing it in those moments. Like there's not a breakaway to a testimonial like a Modern Family or an Office, right? You would cut to the testimonial. It's literally doing the testimonial as it's literally not leaving that scene as he looks to the camera and says, "Oh, I can't believe this guy's buying it." You know? It worked for me. And one of the reasons I think it really worked is because the whole show feels anchored by John C. Reilly, who is one of those actors who's hilarious. We all know him. We all love him. We all love, but is secretly like a really good fucking actor, like underneath everything. And he's like anchoring the show. He plays this big, bombastic, crazy playboy, Hugh Hefner real estate guy. But like, I feel the humanity there still. I still feel like a man trying to put his scraps together and not have it all fall apart and have all that bravado because that's all he has, right?
100%. Yeah. I feel that I think he really like lends a lot to the show. I think that this cast is very likable and charismatic. I think Magic Johnson is incredible. Like I think
that kid is great.
The cast for me is really what's holding the show together. I think the writing is good.
Oh yeah.
I think this, you know, it's style wise is good. But if it wasn't for the charisma that John C. Reilly has and that the actor playing Magic Jordan
Quincy Isaiah,
those two make the show for me. I really like them. I like watching what they're going to do, and they're entertaining enough that I am rooting for them, even though they're not great people. Sally Field is
Daron,
great.
Sure. Everyone in the show is great, but like I think it's what you said. John C. Reilly and Quincy Isaiah are holding down the show. They are the anchors. There are tent poles. Everything is happening around them, and that it's really working. Quincy Isaiah. When I saw him, I was so confused for a second. Because he looks like Magic Johnson.
Really? He does?
He does. Like, if you look at side by side,
I've only seen old Magic Johnson, so I don't.
Well, he looked like old Magic Johnson, is what I mean.
Okay.
Like I thought he looked like him, and then when we look at pictures of him young, I was like, wow, he looks like him young too. And I wasn't prepared for him like being a good actor. Like I was not prepared. I just assume. Usually, you make a sacrifice for these movies. You either have someone that looks like the guy, and he's not the perfect actor, or you have the perfect actor. But he doesn't really look like him, so you just have this suspension of disbelief to like get through it.
Yeah,
this guy looks like him, and he's blowing me away acting. I buy him as a 20-year-old kid out of college who now has $500,000
100%.
and doesn't know what to do or who to look at or who he is.
Yep.
But he has to pretend like he knows who he is because he has to be worth $500,000.
Yeah.
But also he has no fucking idea.
Yeah.
He sounds like a kid.
He sounds like a kid. He is a baby. Like you're watching this and you see him making the choices he's making. You're like, this is just a fucking like punk ass 19-year-old who got way too successful, way too fast. He's getting so much more money, so much more time, and people like him.
But also underneath that too, which is why this actor's doing such a good job, you can see how hard he's working.
Exactly.
Like he's also a kid that came from nothing, where his dad was a garbage man, and he like they had to put ends together to make everything meet, and they gave everything to their kid, and the kid knew that and worked harder than everyone and became the best, right? Like that's also like there at the same time.
Yeah, for sure.
And those are competing feelings and competing views. You know, on one side he is very humble and like knows where he came from and like is a God-fearing man and all that, and on another side he's a fucking 20-year-old punk ass kid. And that's so 100%. Interesting. That's so cool.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it's shying away from putting him in a bad light either. It seems
I think so. Yeah. I think if you consulted with a lot of the basketball players, you probably have a harder time like telling the story. Yeah. I think
that's what happens sometimes. Like to Bohemian Rhapsody, some people say that movie was very muted because Queen helped make it.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. Which happens, right? Like you want it to tell other people's stories. They too probably also remember things in like this grand light that paints them in a good picture, and they're going to omit some of the times they were an asshole. And I like that this show emphasizes that. Like I think that by raising Magic Johnson so highly in the beginning, like there's a lot of room for him to fall. There's a lot of stakes that he has, you know, and I think that'll humble him, and I'm excited to see that.
It was a great scene later on when he's talking to Cookie on the phone where he's talking about his problems. He's like, man, I just need these ballers to like get behind me and like, we're a team, let's do this. And then she was like, no one has ever liked you on your team. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Me and my boys, we like got through everything. And she was like, yeah, but behind your back, they were talking shit every single time because you needed everyone to like you, but you don't. And he was like, you're just some girl that I banged, and like has a complete like meltdown about it. And an identity crisis, because that's his whole worldview, like changing in that moment. And that's exactly what you're talking about. Like it's like cutting through all those layers of bullshit and like saying something kind of mean about Magic Johnson.
Yeah, no, 100%. I also feel like there is, speaking of his interaction with the women in the show, I feel like there's a lot of sexism in the show because that's, you know, of the time and it's sports. So they want to try to capture that.
Yeah. And
I am hoping that later on we get more time with the women of the show, especially like his daughter. She seems to be growing into her own. And
she seems like she's going to be crucial, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And the manager who's currently sort of managing the event space. So I'm interested to see more from them, because I feel like even though all the characters and stuff like that don't treat women right, I don't think the show itself has to. I accidentally
just spoiled myself again when I was like, Jeannie Buss. Yeah. And I highlighted over and it told me what she is now. And I'm like, oh, okay. Spoilers.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So I think that eventually we'll get there, right? We watched 4 episodes, so the show's not fully fleshed out yet, even within the first season. But I'm just saying that was kind of like a noticeable thing for me, like tits and ass everywhere, barely any character development yet. We got some.
Yeah, I would push back a little bit because I think the show is very purposefully putting those lights on the daughter and the other manager and Cookie because they were sidelined at the beginning, right? So
sure. That's why I said yet. Yeah. Because it's like I think it's going to come.
You're right. I think so too. I think it's but it could very easily put no light on them at all.
100%. Yes.
Because if they weren't important, it would, because time's precious on a TV show, right?
Yeah.
But it's like giving them time on the show. Like Jeannie Buss has had more time than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or Norm Nixon, you know, so far on the show.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So because I assume, you know,
yes, exactly. Yeah. I think we'll get more, because I do like John C. Reilly. I think he's great. I like Magic Johnson. I think he's great. But if this is like other like anime or anything else that we watch, like we like the ensemble. We like the other when the tertiary characters get big moments, you know?
True.
And so I want to see a lot of that too. We're getting a little bit. It's only 4 episodes. I'm not gonna dock the show any points right now. But I'm just saying, like, that's more stuff I want to see for sure.
You're totally right, because those are my favorite moments. One of my favorite moments of the show was in the 4th episode where Michael Cooper was with his girlfriend or wife driving to the camp about whether his job was in jeopardy or not. And there was this little tiny D storyline of him as an actor and a character of interacting with everyone, and him naming on the clipboard with a little question mark. And they paid it off at the end of the episode when he came out and with a smile to his girlfriend. And, and now it seems like he's gonna be a part of that team, but he's not Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He's not Magic Johnson in the focus of the show, or maybe he's gonna be. I feel like I spoiled myself again a little bit now, just looking, because Michael Cooper is a dude. He's a dude. He's a dude. Like he would be like, he's not a nobody. He's a dude.
Oh, interesting.
So like, I think the show is doing a good job with showing these people before they were important too, right? Which is smart, which is cool and subtle. None of it feels shoehorned. I would say something about the show this whole time as I've watched these 4 episodes. Nothing feels shoehorned or pushed on me or like pressed on me. At no point was like, at no point, which is wild, because there's always some point where I feel like this. At no point was I like, why are we here with this character? Or why are we over here? Or I don't care about this storyline. Get back to those other people. I felt good and satisfied the whole time, storyline wise, about going here and then going to see Bus and then going to see the old coach and then seeing the new coach and then seeing Magic and then seeing Michael Cooper for a second, then seeing Jeannie smoke some weed with the people and then going and seeing the manager and then going and seeing the accountant for 2 seconds. Like, I felt good, like in terms of the pacing. I guess it's pacing, right?
The pacing is great. I mean, like the show, after the first episode, I was invested. Like, I watched the first episode and I was like, fuck, man, like I would not have watched the show if it wasn't for this podcast, if it wasn't for our patrons. And now, after 1 episode, I was like, fuck, like I want to watch more.
I need to watch more.
I need to watch more. A lot of times, sometimes, I'll be honest, this, you have the same feeling. Sometimes it feels like a burden where you're like, I got to squeeze 4 hours of content into this week.
For good stuff sometimes. It still feels that way,
Basically, all of my free time this week has been watching this show. And
Barry is a great example. Loved Barry, loved watching it, but it felt like a burden to get through it all quickly.
Exactly. But it was great. And we appreciated it and I loved it. But like but this, I was like, I had no regrets about it. It's Friday, it's almost Friday. And I'm like, fuck, I spent my whole free time this week watching this show. And honestly, I'm not mad about it.
Yeah. Which is rare. I think it's hard for a show that's a drama that ticks all those boxes we love of like intrigue and character and all that, but still be a fun time. This show is fun. It is kinetic. It is moving. It is jumping around. People are saying things. It doesn't feel wasted. There's no like monologues of like wastedness. Everything. Now that I'm talking about it, I feel like all the scenes are a little short. Like it feels like there's not a lot of big speeches. Big long scenes,
but that's fine,
which is like more true to life, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's not like a sports movie. It's not like I'm gonna give the speech that's gonna get everyone on their asses.
We're gonna get it.
We'll probably get it, but it's not, which is more true to life. People don't always do that, and I feel like even the little vignettes with people is it might be a little too much, right? Because like they know the future careers of these people, so they're giving the emphasis, they're giving the little wink and nods that we need, but reality wise, it probably wasn't like that, but in hindsight they know these people are going to be people, so they want to create that storyline early, which is fine. I don't mind it.
Let's be critical for 2 seconds, because I have a question. I think it was the 2nd episode, it might have been the 3rd. At the beginning of the episode, we see Jerry West, the old coach, the old player who had never won a championship, right? Who always got to the finals. At the beginning of the episode, he was being celebrated with confetti as if they won, but I thought he never won.
He did win. Oh, well, no, he's MVP.
So he won MVP that night.
Even though the team didn't win, he's MVP.
Of that whole year.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
So like, good was for him. It's a moment to celebrate, but you're right.
Sure. But it was just the wording was weird because at the funeral, the girl came over and she was like, "Oh, you lost," and he was like, "No, I won." I'm like, "No, I'm confused because you lost. You could have just said you lost. You didn't have to sound like an idiot. I'm confused. Like you didn't win, right? Did you win?" And then also like everyone seemed
That is so
excited.
harsh. Yeah.
Well, no, everyone seemed excited. Like I feel like, oh, we're happy you
he
got
did
MVP,
win?
but we're still sad. No, he did win. He won
Oh, he
what? I
won.
thought they never
Did they
won a
win one?
championship. I thought they never won
I guess
one.
I am confused because they did say a lot of times that they never won a championship. Oh, in a
They were
row.
But he did win a championship. He did win the title.
I have
He did
no
win,
idea. This is
but it wasn't
okay.
against the Celtics.
Let's look it up.
Oh, his nickname includes Mr. Clutch for his ability to make a big play in a clutch situation, such as his famous buzzer-beating 60-foot shot that tied Game 3 of the 1970s against the Knicks. The logo is him. Olympics, Hall of Fame. He was voted 12 times and 14. The same year won the only title of his career. Holds the NBA for the highest points. Having played in 9 NBA finals, he's the only player in NBA history to be named Finals MVP despite being on the losing team. Oh, Daron says something. 9 times in his 14 season, West's Lakers made the finals. They lost 8 the first 6 times Celtics. He got his only NBA title in the Lakers record setting 1971 to 72.
But it doesn't say
So
that
he
won.
did win.
I'm confused. How does sports work? This is what happens when two nerds
Oh, I
are
also
trying to
just got
cover
spoiled.
sports.
Okay, great. I was confused because he's still around in the TV show and he's not the coach anymore. And I was wondering why, and it just told me why.
Oh, okay.
Which makes sense. But
yeah, I have no idea.
did Jerry West win a championship?
Because even
yes,
that
won 1972. She was right. Fine, Daron. You're smarter than us. You're better than us. You're prettier than us. You know sports.
I don't know
better.
what
Okay.
NBA title means. Does that he won?
It's a championship. Yeah.
I don't know the terminology for sports, Nick.
He did. Wait, so he's upset because he lost so many times to the Celtics, but he did win a ring. I thought they were saying he never won a ring. So he did win a ring. So he's just being a little bitch?
He's being a little
Okay.
bitch.
Great.
Honestly, that makes it worse. Because in my head, the way I was confused too, I guess, because I thought the way they worded it, he never won, but he did win an MVP. So I was like, okay, he got MVP, but he never won. I get why he's being a little bitch. But he won and he was MVP. He's just a fucking bitch. He needs to shut the fuck up. And he's annoying now. Now I don't like his character.
I still like him. I like the angst. I think Jason Clark plays him great. Jason Clark is a wonderful fucking actor.
Yes.
He's one of those actors that he never gets like the acclaim he deserves, but every time he's in something, he's fucking great.
Daron calls him the cuck because in every film he's in, his wife gets fucked by someone else, or so he gets cucked in some way. So even in this, he's kind of getting cucked because.
Did you see Serenity? With Matthew McConaughey and Anne Hathaway?
No, does he get cucked?
Yeah, he does. He does. He gets cucked by Matthew McConaughey. That's the movie, Marcus. That's the movie where you find out at the end. Spoilers for Serenity, I guess, for fucking 3 years ago. You find out at the end it's a video game.
Oh
that
yeah,
the kid made
that
because he's being abused, and you only find out in the last like 1 minute.
Yeah,
he's in that, and he gets cucked. Yeah,
there you go. Yeah.
I also saw him in the movie where he played Ted Kennedy, which he did fucking amazing. He's a very good actor.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, the real Jerry West tried to sue.
That's great.
Oh,
that's great. It's hard.
The show or the book, Daron? The show or the book?
It's hard to prove defamation, which is
it really is. Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm a Jerry West. I think it's annoying sometimes, but like I'm not on his side. I like all the characters. I like all the characters. There's not a single character that he's
likable.
I dislike. There's no characters. They're all flawed. They're all deeply flawed. Every single one of them. They're showing Kareem as being lazy, like Nixon as being like a narcissist. You know, Jackson as being naive, or Johnson as being naive. But like, I like everybody.
Yeah.
Like even like the assholes, except like the one dude that's always on the B team that keeps like shoulder checking Magic Johnson.
Oh yeah, that guy sucks. He needs to go.
Yeah, I'm sure he's leaving. I'm sure he's leaving.
But like you said,
the one where he's like, everyone look at my dick.
Yeah, but even Kareem, right? Like Kareem's, you're saying he's lazy, but it's more nuanced than that, right? Like he's older. He's looking towards a future that might involve acting and doing other things like that.
And he's also like Nirvana. Like he's like a meditative dude. He's like a thoughtful, introspective guy that's like looking at life.
He's coming to terms with the fact that, at least in this for our episodes, that he's going to have to either try hard or maybe it's not worth it. Maybe you can't teach an old dog new tricks, and maybe he just has to quit the team.
Love that. And the actor's portraying it beautifully. Like I buy it. Yeah. I buy the struggle, because we've all been there, right? We've all been there of like, oh, wow, I've had this job for 3 years. Then a boss comes in and there's a chance to be successful and make more money and but it's like, do I want to? You know? I love the aspect of how all the characters are portrayed. I don't know anything about any of these people.
I know, which is crazy. It's so weird that these are real people, and I'm like, how did I not know this? The real famous people. It's not like a fucking true crime story where you don't know a little old lady that had dead bodies in her backyard. It's like fucking history. They made history. And we're like, I don't know who the fuck that guy is.
And I love it because there's all these little things that happen that I'm like, almost like, is that how that happened? Is that really how? Where like, just for example, at the end of the 4th episode, where we're about to get fucking cheerleaders.
Yeah, the Laker girls.
The Laker girls. And I was like, this is when our version of a cheerleader was made right here. Is this it? Is this really it? Is this how it happened?
Yeah.
Or is this like made up? Like, I don't know. I'm like, whoa, cool.
Yeah.
Old Man Ram said, think Kareem is the greatest, but my dad says you don't work hard enough on defense. And he says the lots of times you don't even run down court and that you don't really try except during the playoffs. Oh, yeah. That's what the kid said.
Right? Oh, yeah.
And how true, right? Like how great, Nick, because he also has a reputation for it, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Nick, I would say,
what?
It's from Airplane, the movie. That's funny.
Yeah. I love how there was a real scene from the movie. That was great.
Nick, sounds like you know a lot about sports, huh?
Marcus, change that to sports movies and I got you beat. I know all about sports movies. Love sports movies. Love sports movies. Love all that shit.
Okay, rolling the clip.
Oh, that was so lackluster.
Now try this trivia. Now try this trivia. Now trivia this.
Hey, and we're back.
Are you really about to give me a sports?
Nick, now try
trivia?
Sports, guys. Nick, I don't know the answers either. We're doing this together, okay? You and me.
Oh shit. Okay.
That
makes me feel better.
Hold on. Let's get into it. Let's get into it a little bit, okay? Let's bring the energy up, okay?
What? You're the mild one.
Excuse me. I am being hyped as hell. Are you ready, Nick? Okay. I want you to gather all of that sports movie knowledge. Okay.
Wait, Marcus, say this like a sports movie speech.
I want you to get your goddamn head out your ass and get it in the game. Focus on the court, Nick, because you and I, if we don't get this, we have to retire from podcasting forever. That's what's on the line here, Nick. Your ass and my ass. Okay? So unless you want to get fucked by the world, we have to win. Are you with me?
Why is it always our asses on the line? I'm with you. Let's do this, Captain.
Nice. Okay, Nick. These are very easy baby sports questions that we should know.
Oh, we pretend we don't know anything about sports, but we know a couple of things.
But we might get it all, or we might not. Nick, first question.
That's true.
How many MLB baseball stadiums are there?
The same amount of teams there are, obviously.
And
everybody knows there are 32 baseball teams.
Nick, that's not even one of the options. Okay. It's multiple choice.
You dick. You knew.
A
you
is 30. B is 17. C is 41 and D is 26. Nick.
Listen, the fact that my honest guess was like ballpark correct.
You don't know if it's correct. You don't know that 30's right.
Marcus, I could have said 7 and I could have said 102. Like, I'm in the ballpark.
Oh, yeah, you're in the ballpark. Well, my original thinking was, there's 50 states and each state has at least one sports team, right? So there probably has to be more than 50 State,
Oh yeah, the fucking Utah umpires. Yeah, not every state has a
the
thing.
Utah Jazz is a
That's
sports team.
basketball. That's basketball.
I'm just saying. Utah can have a basketball team. Why can't they have a baseball team? I'm just thinking. Okay, I'm thinking.
Honolulu Hornets. We're not talking.
I'm thinking. Is Hawaii even a state?
Get the fuck out of here. It's 30. I was close.
Okay.
We go with 30. I said 32, it's either that or the 40. But
let's go with 30. I think that's good.
17's way too low.
Okay.
And between 26 and 30, I would lean towards 30.
Yeah. I think 41 seems too high.
Yeah.
Answer is A, 30. Look at that. We got it. Our asses are safe
was only two
for
off.
just a minute longer.
See, I still had Brooklyn Dodgers in my head and another team that doesn't exist, which is why I thought 32.
Okay.
So.
I mean, New York alone has 2. So we're making up
there's
for
the
it.
White Sox, the Red Sox, the Blue Sox. It's hard to keep up, you know?
Chicago has 2 also. Some states double up and some states have none. So 30 sounds like a good average.
I think it's time to get the Alaska Anals onto the
Alaska Anals?
Yeah.
The Alaska polar bears at least is more threatening. The Alaska
It's got to alliterate.
The Alaska Anals. Yeah, that sounds good.
Next question. We got one right.
How many players are allowed on a soccer field at once per team?
Okay, think about Ted Lasso.
100%. That's where my brain's going to. Ted Lasso.
I feel like it's either 2 on offense.
How many players are allowed on the pitch?
I think it's 3 on the offense and 4 on the defense, and then the goalie. So I feel like it's 8. Is that right?
Okay, so I'm gonna read you the options. A is 9. But I like thinking it through. A is 9, B is 10, C is 11, D is 12.
God damn it! Oh wait. Am I?
You know what?
It's like
you need
2, 3, and 4, right? And then the goalie 10. I think it's 10. It's 2 in the front, 3 in the middle, 4 in the back.
When we played that game, remember when we played fantasy soccer with Andrew and his brother? Shout out, who's playing against us. How many players did you have to put in the little diagram?
Or even better, foosball table. So there's the goalie, and then there's a 2, a 3, and a 4, right?
No, I think it's a 3, a 4, and a 4, and then the goalie. I don't think is there a 2?
The one that's closest to the goalie, yeah. Isn't it? My guess is 10. I think it's a 2, 3, and 4, and then the goalie. What do you think?
Let's see. 2, 3, and a 4. So that's going to be 9, 10.
There's 4 in the middle. Oh, no,
I don't think
4 in the
there's
middle,
a 2.
3 behind it, and 2 in the front.
I think there's a 3 in the front.
So it's 3, 4, 3? So you think it's 11?
Yes. That's my guess.
All right. I think it's 10.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Answer is C, 11.
Great. Good job that we went with your answer, and we have 2 points.
Hey, technically, we never say who we go with.
In my head, we're going with you. I believe in you, bud.
Thanks. Okay, next question. You're welcome. How many periods of play are in a hockey game? Shit.
2 or 3. It's 100% 2 or 3.
This sounds right.
2
halves?
Different. It's different than football. It's not like football. Football has 4.
And basketball is what?
It's 2. So I think it's 3.
Do they have a halftime show in basketball?
In hockey?
In hockey? No.
You
think it's 3?
I've been to one hockey game in my life. I won tickets as a car salesman. I went with Fear God of Death. Fear God of Death. Tell us in the chat how many were there for that one bet.
I'm gonna channel my Mighty Ducks. Okay. And I'm gonna say I agree it's 3. If you're between 2 and 3, I pick 3.
Okay, it's 100% 2 or 3.
I like 2.
We'll go with you.
I kind of want to go 2, but I
2,
played a lot of the hockey game, and I remember it being long.
Fear God of Death says 2. We say 2. Let's do 2.
Okay,
2.
let's go. Next answer. We're going with 2. B, thirds.
That's why we went with my answer.
And what we agreed on, you and I agreed on 3.
On my answer. And
any
so Fear God of Death, you're
from the
wrong.
Chat don't count.
And that's you guys are trying to get in on this. We are 3 for 3 so far. We make a great team, Marcus.
Fear God of Death. What happened, man? You let us down.
And I love how he only just said 2. And in my head, that meant confidence. But in his head, he was just trying to get it out quick.
Okay.
He's like taking a shit while he's watching the stream. So he's like, oh, 2.
How many games in a regular season of the NBA? 35, 17,
fucking shit ton.
50, and 82.
Oh, wait. Hold on.
50 games, 1 for each state.
I fucking hate you. There's not a lot in football. There's a shitload in baseball.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot in basketball too, right?
I thought so, but those I thought the options were going to be like 80, 100, 120, and 150. Like I thought that was what we were about to get. I mean, so the fact that that's not what we got
between 17 and 82 is a lot, honestly.
Yeah, I feel like it's a shit ton. It's not 17. But here's the thing. We don't know a lot about basketball. And some games, some sports do the thing where they're playing a lot of games all year, but they don't fucking matter until the fucking playoff season.
Yeah. They're playing a lot of goof 'em ups. Fuck, man.
For the money.
Yeah.
What were the options again?
A is 35. Let me see. I can copy the question into the chat.
Oh, sure. So, like, is basketball? There's a lot of fucking games.
100%.
Because just the playoffs is 7 games, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
It is.
A is 35. B is 17.
Oh, but that's not the question. How many games in a regular season? Oh no, wait. What's a regular season? Are there off seasons? Do they play for 3 seasons out of the year? And it's just because they play basketball a lot.
Yeah. No, they do. They do play a lot of basketball.
But the wording, I don't know enough about basketball. Regular season, what does that mean?
Hold on.
Is that just for the playoffs?
Basketball, gimme the ball because I'm gonna.
82.
82 is the answer. Let's go with 82. You ready?
We gotta go with our gut of there's a shit ton of basketball games, right?
Okay. Let's go with the next one.
We got to.
The answer is D, 82. We did
it! Shit ton of games.
Thank you, Fear God of Death. Oh, actually, no. Fear God of Death took his answer back. So, fuck you, Fear God of Death, again for getting it wrong.
Next question.
Okay. How many conferences are there in Division 1A college football?
Nobody cares. Next question.
A4. This is the last question. B6, C9, D11. Sorry,
Marcus, I have never
SAT.
cared.
Is it A, B? Is it B, D, C, D, or D, F?
I just imagine the people who make those questions just like as they do that shit. Marcus, I'm going to let you on a secret.
Okay.
And I know it's controversial.
Sure.
In my head, college doesn't count.
As football?
So anytime, period. As anytime anyone gives a shit about college, basketball, baseball, football,
friendships, any college.
Friendships. I literally sit there and I say, who the fuck cares? Let me know when they're fucking go pro.
Fair enough. But a lot of them do go pro. So there's an argument to be made.
To see them then.
That this is the tryouts for going pro. Yeah. Even in this show, right? Magic Johnson beat Larry Bird. And
how about let these kids go to college, get their degrees, and then get them playing some sports balls? Huh, Marcus? Come on.
Wow. Progressive. That's too woke for me.
I hate college so much, I don't even know what the question was. What's the question?
How many conferences are there?
The fuck's a conference?
I don't know what a conference is. Let's speculate what a conference is.
How many Comic-Cons are there a
Option
year?
1, how many Comic-Cons are there during a season of college football? It depends on the state, but I'm going to say there's going to be at least 4 to 6 Comic-Cons.
The conference.
Okay.
I think the conference is a playoff, but it only happens in sections of the U.S.
Darren
so there's the Northeast Conference. That sounds right. That sounds like a thing, right? There's a Northeast Conference, the Southwest Conference, the Midwest Conference.
Yeah. Darren gave examples. SEC, ACC, etc.
That's what I'm saying.
But I don't know what that means. So
SEC, Southeast Conference.
Okay, ACC is the asexual Central Conference. What are the other ones?
Maybe I'm not right.
Is it North, South, East, West?
I'm right. That's what
Nick is right.
says.
Okay, so what's the ACC?
9. The ACC?
Yeah, what's the ACC?
Marcus, you don't know what the AC is?
What is it?
The Atlantic Central Conference.
You said that with a lot of confidence.
You say something with enough confidence.
You said it with a lot of confidence, but I know
right.
you well enough that you don't know shit.
Atlantic Coast Conference. That was so close.
You were wrong though, but you were close.
Whatever. Okay. 9's the answer.
9 is not. Yeah, sure. It's the directions and then also the half directions.
That sounds right. It could
9.
be like, what were the options?
4, 6, 9, and 11.
I think 9.
Okay, let's go with 9. The answer is D11.
Damn it.
Wow. Nick,
yeah, but nobody cares about the Atlantic Coast Conference, so...
Yeah, actually, the 2 she gave us were kind of like the bad ones, so we subtracted those.
Yeah.
Our answer was 9 because we were saying there was 9 left, so Darren messed up the question, actually, is what happened.
So we got a clean sweep. Oh, wait, you know what's so funny? I just Googled it. How many college conferences? And you know what it says?
What?
10.
That's pretty funny.
That's what it says. So
you know what?
we
So
get all the
we'll
points.
take the point. We got all the point. We got a perfect score. Thank you, Daron, our producer, for making the game.
Oh, this question says 14.
Are you looking in college football?
First, I put how many college conferences, and it said 10. And then I put how many college conferences football, and it says 14.
Well, I don't know the answer.
I said Division 1A. Wow. Daron, you trying to pull a switcheroo on us in the fucking middle of the game? Wow. Tacky. That's tacky, Daron. We won. Full sweep.
Old man Rom sent me a whole thing about Nick Woodman. Who is Nick Woodman?
You would have told me Nick Woodman to go pro in college?
You told Nick Woodman to go? No, I don't think anyone should go pro in college, honestly.
He's
because he
CEO of
invented GoPro? Is that a joke?
Is that a joke?
I feel like we just got Rick Astley'd.
We did. We just got fucking Rickrolled. Back to the show.
That was a good joke.
Winning
joke.
time. That was good. I feel got. We got. You know,
Okay,
Will Ferrell
back to
was
winning
almost wanted to be a part of the show.
100%. That makes sense. He loves basketball.
They went with John C. Reilly instead, and they didn't tell him when they
Oh my
cast
God,
him.
really?
John C. Reilly told him over the phone later, and now it says Pharrell was so infuriated he's ended his friendship with McKay.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, and originally Michael Shannon was cast to portray Jerry Buss, but he left due to creative differences. He said he did not like the fourth wall breaking format of the show and found it difficult to work with.
Oh wow, that's so weird. You just look into the camera and you say some
It's
shit.
weird. It's weird. It's definitely weird. I can see Michael Shannon not being that kind of cheeky actor.
Yeah,
John C.
for
Reilly's
sure.
so fucking cheeky.
Yeah. But
Like he's almost looking at the camera anyway.
Yeah. Will Ferrell, I don't know if he could have done it.
He could have. It would have been different, but he could have
Yeah.
done it, I think.
Yeah.
But I think John C. Reilly is a perfect choice.
Yeah,
He kind
I
of
think
looks like the guy.
He's slime. Like, I feel like Will Ferrell is like, I think
That's
John
what
C.
it is.
Reilly he's capable of being slimy
And still likable.
and likable.
And I'm sure that's what they needed to get with Buss. I'm sure that's probably why he was this scummy guy who was fucking, doing all these girls and doing all this shit. But, he still liked them.
Uh-huh.
That was his thing.
Yeah.
So it makes sense it was John C. Reilly.
Bo Burnham was cast as Larry Bird at some point. I feel like I remember seeing that somewhere.
We talked about it during 8th grade or
Okay.
Inside
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something. So we
Yeah.
talked about it.
Yeah.
He left for creative differences too.
Mm-hmm. It's so interesting.
Yeah,
Well,
he
I'm
was
glad
just
I'm
busy.
watching this show. I like it. I think the pacing is great, like you said earlier. I think the characters are really interesting. I think that they do a lot to really grab you and hold you in the show.
No, I totally agree. I think I love the whole cast. I love what everyone's doing. This is the first time in a long time where I was watching, I finished the 4th episode and I was pissed that I couldn't watch anymore. And Lexi said, "We can't watch anymore, really?" And I was like, "No, I don't want to watch more." Then I'll get confused in my head about what I can talk about.
Yeah. No, I agree entirely. I feel like I'm the same way. When I'm like looking when we're watching stuff for the podcast, it's hard for me to get ahead because I'm like, oh, I want to spoil it, or I'll end up talking more about it than I should.
Yeah, because then it always feels like you're doing this game of like, well, you'll see that this ends up happening, and then it's like this weird game you gotta play. But it's nice to just be on the same page sometimes. Sometimes it's fun to do that, but sometimes for this, I just wanted to be on the same page because I was just enjoying it so much. What do you think about the journey? This is fun. This is a dumb question. What do you think about the journey of all these characters? Where do you think they're gonna go?
Oh my
Since
God.
everyone already knows, and it's real life.
100%, you're right.
Somebody is watching this and 100% knows because it's not a spoil. It's all happened.
Yeah.
But what do you think's gonna happen?
Oh my God. I think, I feel like they're going to make it up to the thing, but I don't know if they're going to win because I feel like this is covering the span of the 80s, right? Like, I don't know what year it is when the show starts. It's the early 80s.
Yeah,
right?
I feel like they're probably gonna do if the show is successful. I'm sure they'll do like a year season.
Yeah, I feel
Right?
like they can really they're gonna have to basically. I don't think they're gonna win the first time. I think
don't
that
think so?
makes sense, right? It's gonna follow sort of like the Ted Lasso progress of a sports show, where it's like,
Yeah.
I don't think they'll win the first time, but I do think that they're going to end up making a lot of money based off the changes that they make. They'll get people in, they'll get the actors in, they'll get celebrities in. I mean, Jack Nicholson's picture was on the board, and he's famous for having like Lakers tickets and going to every game and being front row.
I know that side of celebrities on the Lakers celebrity seats. Everyone knows that shit.
100%.
It's so smart.
Totally
it's exactly
a thing.
Right.
Exactly. And you get to see where that started and why that started.
And it's so funny how that's so integral to the game of basketball because they need that money to support all these crazy things they're doing and these crazy hires and fucking, like he shouldn't have hired Magic Johnson and some of these other people just because of a cost benefit.
Yep.
Like Jerry West, when he was making the roster, he was like, I need like these 3, 4, 5 guys, but we're not going to get them because we ain't got enough money. And Best is like, no, just get them. I'll figure it out. Which is just so integral to baseball or basketball.
I like seeing the business side of this because this show could have easily been a focus on the sports, a focus on the players, but it is really a focus on the team itself. It's a focus on the environment the team's created and the changes to basketball that happened in the 80s.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, it's so funny how this is talking about basketball before us. Cause when we grew up, basketball was the thing. Yeah. Not just because of Michael Jordan, inspired by Michael Jordan, spearheaded by him, but in my head, basketball was always a thing, but
yeah, exactly.
It wasn't. It 100%. Was going down in viewership. It was not going big. And this Showtime era of what the Lakers did not only obviously is going to dominate the fucking playoffs and shit and win a bunch of rings and should make fucking household names out of all these people, but also change the game forever. Yeah. So there's just so many things that all happen at the same time here, and it's so exciting to watch it.
Yeah, no, it's really crazy that when they're all like making references to the fact that like, oh no, looks like we barely are getting anyone in their seats. We're barely doing this. Like we don't have any money, and like no one's coming to see games anymore. It's like, you mean basketball? Like the thing that's like super popular and everyone goes to games all the time, and that
internationally, like other countries watch our shit,
and that like kids everywhere growing up wanted to become basketball players because they were like, this is the thing to do, this is how you make it.
Yeah, it's more so than a lot of other sports. And it's funny because I feel like basketball is one of those sports where all you need is the net and the ball, whereas hockey or football, you need pads, you need equipment, you need all this other stuff. Baseball, you need a bat, you need equipment, you need helmet.
100%.
I feel like you need the ball.
Exactly. I mean, also like growing up, like in a poor area, the sports that require the least amount of things to buy are the sports that are generally popular. Basketball is very popular. Soccer is popular,
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a stickball is popular because you don't need gloves. You just need a stick and a ball and you're good to go.
Sure. Well, there's no professional stickball yet. And it's funny because
there's semi-professional stickball. Or if you get paid, right? There's professional stickball. People get paid to play stickball. If ESPN has fucking curling, then there is someone playing
curling
stickball
is
for
an
money.
Olympic sport, Marcus. Olympic caliber athletes curl. Okay? But yeah, watching this all unfold, and it's so funny because I also know Magic Johnson and Larry Bird's name because they're part of the U.S. Olympics All-Star team with Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen of that era. Yeah. So it's like, and it's there. And I remember in that documentary, The Last Dance with Michael Jordan and all the Bulls, and I had interviews. The reason that documentary was so good is because it sat down with all of them. Mm-hmm. Like you actually got Jordan and Rodman and Pippen talking about that era. And talking about it and the whole thing. And like, it was just so interesting. It was so interesting. But one of the people who talked was Magic Johnson and about how he was on his way out as Jordan was coming up. And him, like, even him, who's, Magic Johnson, like, I mean, MJ, he's like MJ's MJ. you know, it was just like, it was such a wild era. But yeah, cool shit.
Cool shit, definitely. Yeah. I mean, my one sort of thing to be wary of is I think people watching this show should just be careful not to take these events as the facts because this is not a documentary. Treat it like a historical fiction. I'm
definitely not doing that. This is the facts to me now. I'm bad at that. I'm like, this will be
a lot of people are. You're not the only one. I feel like a lot of people will watch this and be like, oh yeah, no, the Lakers did this and that, this and that. And like, no, they didn't. That was fictional. Even though it's inspired by real events, it's not.
Whatever. No harm, no foul.
Fair enough.
I'm wondering what's gonna happen as we get farther along, just simply because. And it's something I haven't Googled yet because I assume the show's gonna handle it. I was like, I don't know how Magic Johnson gets AIDS. I assume it's all the sex he's having, but I don't know if it's drugs. I don't know if it's
Mm.
sex. I don't know how it happens. I don't know when it
Yeah, yeah,
happens. But I know he announced it in the 90s and it was a big deal.
yeah.
He's like the most famous person that had it at the time to come out and say he
and
had
I
it.
feel like he like recovered and like
He's not
it
recover. I
was
mean, you
kind
don't
of-
recover. He still has AIDS, but he's like the example a lot of people point to where it's like you can continue to live your life.
Yeah, he had HIV.
Oh, is that what it is?
There you
Oh,
go.
okay.
Yeah,
He doesn't
yeah.
have because
Yeah.
he can afford all the best treatment. in the
Exactly.
goddamn
Yeah,
world.
100%.
Right.
That's what I remember. I vaguely remember that whole thing.
That's right.
I remember him getting HIV and then like him being able to get rid of it and that being like a huge sort of problem because it's like, okay, like, wow, look what you're able to do
Look at
in
the
a
elite.
time when no one else has access to healing this thing or fixing it in any way. He's able to get rid of it because he has all this money.
I'm not looking at Lexi. Stop trying to spoil the goddamn show. Trying to give us facts about what's going to happen. I want to see how the show.
Yeah.
The show is the truth now. What
Yeah.
the show says happens is the real facts.
Which
I
one's
will
Cookie?
wait. His ex-girlfriend. It
Oh,
is a
okay,
spoiler.
yeah.
It is a spoiler.
Spoiler, they don't have a child right now, so
They don't have a child. He doesn't have HBO yet.
yeah.
Stop! You're gonna just stop it. Oh God, he says he takes all the drugs.
Oh my
Stop
god.
it. Get out of. You know what? We're turning the chat off. All you guys
No
are
spoilers, guys.
Not worthy.
Jesus.
Get out of here. God.
God.
Spoilers for events that happened fucking
In
40
real life.
years ago.
Yep.
40 years ago in real life. But that's the thing. I'm super excited to see how these things are going to play out. And for me, I think one reason that I love sports television and movies so much is because it takes people and puts them in a pressure cooker, right?
Mhm.
So like the relationships between Nixon and Kareem and Magic and Bus and Jerry West and all these people, the sports aspects puts it under this pressure cooker that's almost like war,
Uh-huh.
but without like when I'm watching a war movie, I got to worry about the war. Which sometimes isn't fun. It's real. It's real shit. It's still very entertaining and good movies. Like, Saving Private Ryan's a great movie, but
Sure.
it's not fun. But when it's a sports movie, it feels like everyone's at war. They're all talking about it like it's a war.
Mhm.
They have that brotherhood in arms thing, but then you get the fun aspect of like watching them play a game, which is why
100%. Yeah. No, I agree.
Haikyuu is one of my favorite animes.
Yeah, I get that.
I love it.
Yeah, it feels like you have the intensity and the stakes, but like all of the death and all of the bad stuff about war is not there. I totally understand what you're saying. I was talking a similar thing. I'm watching the new anime called Tamagotchi Life.
I got a Tamagotchi for my birthday. Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, Tamagotchi Life, and it's basically like Squid Games, like Battle Royale, like one of those, like whatever, Battle Royale and manga anime.
Yeah.
But there's no murder. It's about accumulating debt. So it's interesting because you're like, oh, these guys aren't gonna die. So it's like there's none of that part of it, but it still feels like there's weight to it, but there's less like I don't want this character to die. You're just like, oh no, it sucks. This character's gonna be poor now.
I know, but if they get into enough crippling debt, is there like
that's true? Yeah. Right? So there's still stakes. Yeah. I get what you're saying though. That's a really good point.
Yeah, it's why I love it. I think something that I keep meaning to give you as a challenge that I just haven't had the chance to yet. I haven't found the right time is Friday Night Lights. Friday Night Lights is a great example of a TV show that was on for 5 years. It was a CW-esque show with, fucking romance and all that stupid shit sometimes. But, high school football in a random Texas town.
Yeah.
Like, who gives a shit?
Yeah,
you give a shit when you watch the fucking show.
Really?
You fucking care. Oh,
okay.
Yeah. It's life and death, with these kids of trying to figure it out. There was a movie and then they made a TV show. But it's the same thing with Remember the Titans. It's the same thing with the Mighty Ducks. It's the same thing with, any of this stuff. If that weight is there and I love it so much. I love sports movies. I really do, which is funny because I don't give a shit about sports at all.
I know that's the fun part, but it is on brand for you at least. And honestly, a lot of people. I think that there are a lot of people who will rather watch a sports movie than an actual sporting event.
Here's the thing. Here's the God's honest truth. I don't dislike sports. If anybody brings me to a sports thing, I'm not going to sit there and be cynical about it. I may make a joke or two, but I'm like, I'll ask questions and I'll be invested in whatever's happening. I just never have had an outlet or a friend that has put me on the path to give a shit about sports enough.
Yeah.
The closest I ever came was in college. I had a roommate named Chris who was obsessed with football. So that year, as the year was going on, I knew a little bit about the Tampa Bay Bucks, my team, and a little bit about his Steelers team, and a little bit about the league. And I remember following the games a little bit and getting up to the Super Bowl and watching the Super Bowl that year and being excited and going to a party and enjoying it. And then we weren't roommates anymore, and then I didn't care. But like,
yeah,
if I just need the
like
in,
that.
I don't have the comic books and the D&D and all that stuff. I just have a childhood recollection of it.
Yeah,
is the only thing. I don't dislike sports. Sports are cool.
Yeah, but if you
we went to a
without
Mets
the
game for Andrew's
nostalgia and stuff like
Yeah.
that, like it's hard to do it like that.
without nostalgia stuff.
Yeah.
Without nostalgia stuff, it's hard to, and it's true of anything right now, right? It's hard for us to find new hobbies.
Yeah,
You know,
for sure.
I don't have new hobbies. I've had a new hobby for 10, 15 years. All my hobbies are all the old shit that I can't get rid of. Like it's all the same shit. Look
Yeah,
behind you.
yeah.
It's all the same shit. It's not.
100%.
We're not discovering like new things. You know.
Yeah.
We're rediscovering old things we used to like more.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, or new versions of the old things.
Yeah. I would say D&D is the closest for me. I didn't find D&D till after college.
Yeah.
But I always wanted to. You know. So
Yeah,
it's not
yeah,
even.
yeah. That's fair enough. But like you said, we went to, a Mets game for Andrew's thing. I've been going to sports games sporadically for my whole life. And like, I've never super cared.
Yeah. But when you're there,
When I'm there, I'm going to have a great time. I
Yeah.
love live sporting events, but it's just like, I'm not going to get invested in the team. I'm not going to get invested in, it's like, it's a new hobby. It's a new thing. It's new things to memorize. It's new stuff that takes up so much time and effort to be a fan.
and then you feel like a moron asking questions. Who do you ask questions to?
100%.
You know,
yeah.
but I
It's
can imagine if
intimidating.
Darren loved hockey and you met her and you related about all the same things, and then she started you'd go to hockey games.
100%.
You would know sports people. You would know the
Yeah,
rules. You would know that stuff.
Speaking of college football, she went to Virginia Tech. She loves all we look at this. We have the little Hokie bird here.
Oh, cute.
It's adorable. Go Hokies. But I don't give a shit about college football. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. We're gonna go to a game at some point. We're gonna have a great time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So Marcus, just to wrap up talking about winning time, is there anything else from the show that you wanted to point out as being particularly great or bad or awesome that stuck out to you?
It is interesting to see shows based on historical events because I want the characters to have arcs, but people don't have those in real life. And so it's going to be interesting seeing how this plays out because for me, it's a television show, but for certain people, it's real events. And so I'm interested to see if my want for character development is met by the real events that happened.
I think you can already tell that, like, I started to look before we started a real life versus winning time thing just to see. And then I scrolled down too far and I got a little bit of a spoiler. But there are a couple things that you can tell they're doing it for the arc. For example, Jerry West didn't quit a week before camp. He quit months before that.
Okay.
But
got it.
for the arc of the character and for the arc of the show, you mess with the timeline just a little bit. But I always think of it as they do those things to emphasize the truth. The truth is that what they're trying to say, and because he hasn't left, and now I know he never leaves.
Oh, okay. That's
They are trying to emphasize that in a television format to show us the truth of the situation, which is Jerry West has a connection to the team that he cannot let go. But if they said over the course of a month he stopped in once or twice, we wouldn't have gotten that feeling that existed.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that. You're like ratcheting up, you're putting a magnifying glass on these events so you can understand them better. So you can understand the characters better. And I'm sure the same thing's happening for all these characters.
Yeah, 100%. I think as long as you're showing intention of what it should have been, then I think we're going to be fine.
I think we already see it, like with Nixon already, like just in the simple fact of when they were playing the practice game of their new thing and he put him and Magic both as point guards. And at the beginning, he's like, fuck this young buck, fuck this, fuck that.
Yeah.
And then they start passing each other and they're like, holy shit, we're playing fucking basketball.
Exactly.
Hell yeah.
Finally.
And it's like connection starts. Kareem, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Let me try this orange juice. Oh, there's something happening here. Oh, he's like thinking about what decision he's gonna like. The show is super smart. You're right. There aren't arcs in real life, but I think the show is. And Adam McKay, I know him from his stuff, is very painstaking about doing this. he is telling a story. He has a take.
Yeah.
He knows where they started, he knows where they end, and he knows how to get us there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm going to treat the show as historical fiction, and just like Our Flag Means Death, inspired by real events, but not at all like them.
And for me, this will be sacrosanct. This will be what happened. This will be the gospel. If anyone asks me about the 80s Lakers, I will make references to the show, and that is what happened.
You know what?
Maybe I'll look at one article that said what was different in winning time. And that's it.
Yeah, it takes a lot. It takes a lot to admit that about yourself, and I respect it. I respect it.
I could be a fucking sheeple sometimes. I can go with the masses. I don't care.
Nick, do you have anything more to say?
No, I do not.
Okay. Looks like that is a wrap on the episode
Pew,
of
pew, pew.
Winning Time. There are a couple questions that we have for each other.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to go first?
Because you don't remember them? Yeah, sure. Marcus, did you like the show?
I did like the show. Nick, did you like the show?
I fucking love this show. This show is fucking fantastic. The filming, the acting, the writing. It is so up my wheelhouse. It is so... Oh, and we didn't even mention that the fact that they film it like it's the 80s.
Oh, yeah. There's like little moments where they use like an old camera or at least a filter that looks like it to film random scenes. Yeah.
It works. It's really cool. Again, maybe it goes into what you're saying about people are going to confuse this for the real truth because of that. But for me, who's accepting it, I'm like, this is working. This is cool. I feel like these flashbacks, they're like, it's like an old camera. I love it. Well, Marcus, would you recommend this show?
I would recommend the show. I think regardless of whether you like basketball or not, or sports or anything like that, I think it's a well done show, and it's interesting, and the characters are super charismatic and likable, and it's worthwhile. What about you? Would you recommend the show?
Oh yeah, I think anyone who knows this stuff is gonna get a kick out of this. But I think we're prime examples of people who don't know shit about this stuff, and we're like, this is cool. I know Magic Johnson, the name. That's it.
Yeah,
and that's all you gotta know.
I mentioned anime and superheroes like 10 million times in this episode. Like I don't know jack shit about what's going on in this, and I liked it.
Yeah, exactly. And Marcus, are you going to continue to watch Winning Time: The Rise of the Lakers?
Oh, you bet your juicy ass I am. I'm gonna watch that shit immediately.
Marcus, I want to watch it right now. I want to go.
I know.
Get off the. I don't know if actually maybe I don't go to work until 11:30 tomorrow.
Stay
Lexi
up
works in the
late.
morning. Let's see how she's feeling.
I like it. I like it.
I'm ready to watch more now. Oh, Lexi just said in the chat, yes. I'm gonna go watch more right now. Marcus, that is the show. Next week we are doing your challenge, which is Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, still in theaters, but available to rent for $20 on streaming platforms.
Hell yeah. I'm excited.
Guys, let us know what you think of the show by tweeting at us or Instagramming us at Now Try This Cast. You can also leave us a 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify and write a little something. Let us know what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong. As long as it's 5 stars, we don't mind. Give us a chicken recipe. Totally cool. You can also become a part of our community, become a part of the conversation at patreon.com/NowTryThisCast, just like Tom did this month and gave us the show. We want to hear your weird shit. It's not about the best thing happening right now, though we really appreciate it when it's good. We also like when it's important to you. That's the point. That's the point of the show. The point of the show is you to share something you love with us, and finally being able to make your friends talk about it with you. That's the point. So go on the Patreon, give us that crazy weird shit that you've liked since you were a kid. TV shows, movies, books, comics. Hell, it can be albums. You can do whatever you want. But if you can't do any of that, make sure to... I lost my train of thought. Also, subscribe on twitch.tv/Free
subscriptions. Yep.
Resubscribe, Twitch Prime. We record every week live, twitch.tv/NowTryThisCast.
Hell yeah, let's go. Also, hey, you don't want to get involved with Patreon? You don't have to. You don't want to subscribe to us on Twitch? Fine. You can like our stuff online. You can donate to us while we're live. We accept donations.
That's true. That's true. You can go on to Twitch as we're doing it and hit that donate button.
Hell yes.
Give us straight to us instead of through Twitch subs or Patreon. You can literally give us the money. That's totally
100%. 100%. Okay, guys.
And whatever you give us, make sure to give us an extra $1 for the tax that PayPal takes out. So
Okay, guys, that's the episode. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Hell yeah.
Have a good night, and remember to go out there and try some things.
Good night.
Goodbye.
Pew pew.
Friends get together so they can try things. Young About It's podcast so that you can try things. Riley will stop singing so that we can all now try this.
I am recording the podcast because I'm recording the podcast for Thursday's episode right now. Okay, great.